joining me, as I say every time you see me. So let's get this out of the way first. I am going to be having several dental treatments over the next few weeks. So that means I either go for 6 weeks and pop back up then, or you put up with me like this and I can still do my lives and I can still do what I do. Right, where's my chat just gone? I had it sorted then, now it's disappeared on me. One sec. Gremlins. There you go, I can see. Right. See you all in. Right, Kelly's in, Chris is in, Piglet, Jojo, Frank, Castle Dude, our Neil, Ian Jones there, Kiz, Don't Make Me Pray You Away, Susan, Katie. Anyone I've missed? I think I've got everyone, but if I haven't got everyone, I'm really sorry. After this live, there will be a live discussing the drama that's going on and, you know, the fact that people are trying to report me left, right and centre to the DWP. So I thought I would take the time to inform you that I am actually self-employed, and I'll explain the rules of that and several other things later on in another live. But for tonight, what did you think about the cases that I discussed? Bella and Tracy first. Hi Lockbeard. If you want a live later on, pop over to Lockbeard's. I was actually just chatting with Joe about Lockbeard, and I'd like to explain a few things. Lockbeard does not believe that there are any Bigfoot in the UK or that dogmen exist, but because we are both competent adults, we get on anyway, regardless of that. I like what he does, and he likes what I do, and we have a laugh in the chats, and that's what you should be like on YouTube. That's how it should be, shouldn't it? All inclusive. So Bella first, as I need to explain, Bella had an eye condition, still has an eye condition. So she can see out of the peripheral and only about a foot in front of her like that. And I actually made a mistake in the last live feed. I said that she was walking down an embankment, and I need to clear that up. She wasn't. It's like barnfields and woodlands and, you know, a small lane that she was going down. I thought she meant like the bankings, like the embankments where I live, the new cycle routes that you can walk the dog on and things like that. And it struck a chord with me because there is a lot of electric scooters, electric bikes in the UK, and they are silent. So if you're walking somewhere at, what, I'm in the northwest, so what time it go dark today, Mark? About 1:30 in the afternoon?
Yeah.
About 1:30, 1:45. So from then on, it's dark. So if you're on somewhere where you're walking and there's no lights and these people are barreling in towards you, it can be quite scary. And that's why she said, stop, you're going to hit me. And she said it did stop. And it was at that point that he was under, there was a light from the lamppost, so she was lucky. I wonder what that would have felt like if there was no light, you just got this dark thing barreling towards you. I'd think it was a human male, in all honesty. Hi Katie, sweetheart. If you don't mind, I can let people know that we're going to be discussing your case next week. I've been chatting to Katie on the phone and explaining a few things, and I've popped her into the support group. Dobby's in there as well, helping out. Because regardless of what people think of these encounters, whether you believe them or not, that's not where my interest lies. What I'm left with is the person who then has to carry on after having this event. So in Bella's case, she still had to walk home, but although he bounded off into the woodland, she's still had that experience. It's stamped on her brain forever now. There'll be periods of PTSD. There'll be periods where she will see a face, or she will hear something, or she will smell something, and it'll take her right back to that day. Whether that's a paranormal being, a flesh and blood creature. If you walked around the corner and saw a lion, you wouldn't forget about it, would you? And the next time you opened your front door, you'd be wondering if there was going to be a lion there again. And that's what it's like for these witnesses, in all honesty. They have to navigate their life, still go to work, still see to the children, and do all the things that functioning adults are supposed to do after having these experiences, you know. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a fool. I know there are people out there that swing the lead or make stories up, or for whatever reason that they do that. But there are genuine people who've suffered trauma from the things that they see and experience. And as a fellow sufferer, I can understand that. For Tracy, it was different. In the fact that she didn't actually get her eyes on him, and she said she should have been able to see him. She was not in a thick woodland. She was on a path in Ponteland, in the northeast of England, for anyone who wants to know where it is. There, the River Pont runs right at the side of this parkland. And she said it was just 2 feet off the path in a bit of shrubland, and she should have been able to see what was there, and she couldn't see it. But it said, basically, you don't want to see me now. Oh. So, as you know, when I get a case that comes in, I will look and see what I can find to see if anybody else has reported anything in that area. So, has there been a paranormal report? Has there been a cryptid report? Has there been anything? So, when I was doing Tracy's, I looked, and I realised that a few months before, there was actually a man arrested in the park for attacking a woman. He'd grabbed her as she was walking through the park with a dog. And I wondered if that had any connection in any way. So I looked at my other cases in the area, and that's when I remembered the Stanley case, which is probably 20 minutes, 25 minutes away. And that was a lady, once again, who was walking, and she was on the embankments. And she said she had her earpods in, and she had no idea that this man was behind her. She just suddenly heard a really loud knock, and she turned to see where the knock was coming from. And there was a man right at her back, and it startled him as well, and he scurried off. And she said she'd always felt a bit of trepidation at that part of the walk when she'd done it before. So she hurried on a little bit, and she looked back, and when she looked back, she said that she saw a set of legs in the hedgerow, and felt that whatever that was, be it creature or not, had actually saved her from that man. And I wouldn't do the same thing. That's what I said to her. I wonder if he was your friend or your foe. You know, you just don't know, do you? If anybody's got any questions, put them in capitals for me, because I can actually see the chat tonight. I'm getting better at them. Mark laughing over there. A lot of people keep saying, oh, Debbie's made a comeback. I've not been anywhere. I've just been really busy. Like, we had the house move, and then I've had a few TV jobs, and, you know, you've got to pay your bills, haven't you? So I have to put a lot of effort into that, more so than I would like to. But don't, you know, we all feel a bit like that, don't we? Oh, Margaret, that's really nice of you to say. Does anybody want an update on Steve and how he's doing with Fred? I've spoke to him this week. I've had a chat with him. It was Fred's funeral last week. Steve said he had a lovely send-off. All his friends were there, and it was a really nice day. And Joe had asked me about the dog and what was happening with the dog, and unfortunately Rowan passed away as well. So her and Fred have gone together. And Katie contacted me because she was looking for help online, and she saw the interview that Fred did, where that was done about 12 hours, Steve will correct me, 16 hours after the experience. And I'd spoken to him, I'd already rung him at that point and spoken to him and managed to calm him down. Steve said from Fred passing, there's nothing on the land, it's just, he said he's quite worried about going back at night when it's dark and nothing. He said it is notably, that feeling isn't there anymore, Deb. So I think maybe that's passed with Fred. Hello, sweetheart. Maybe that's past me. You can't get up. I've got my laptop on me now.
Mate, come on. Hey, stop it.
I'm trying to move. It's all right, Mark. I'll move the laptop. It's because I'm talking. You can't get on Mum's knee. You're too big now, aren't you? You're way too big. I was talking about him in the chat before, saying he's like a pony, aren't you, mate? Yeah. Let me see if I can put my camera down so you can see him. There he is. Look. Normally, when my pod's up like that, he knows I'm working, and he just lies down on the couch and he's like, hang on, Mum's worked 2 times now. What's going on? Mind. If any messages come up on there, it's just my dog, I'm afraid. He's trying to get on me lap and he can't. Hiya, Docs. I didn't see you in there.
Right, come on.
There's Penny. I missed Penny. I'm sorry if I've missed anyone. I'm looking at the camera and chat's down here on my knee.
Oh. Lie down. No.
I still got a bit of whiplash from that car accident, as has Mark. So I want a warm pillow behind my back. Hey, I tell you what, you look nicer on iPhone than you look on YouTube. I've got to be honest. I look dead thin on iPhone. I look dead fat on YouTube. Nobody watches to look at my boat, do they? Right. Oh, Penny, I did have a scroll back, but my eyes are Android eyes. You see, these are not iPhone. They're not good ones. Even with these glasses on, my Jeffrey Dahmers, I still can't see the chat on my phone. So I've got on a massive big screen in front of me. I wanted to pull my map up. There you are. See, people did see you, Roy. You can chill out now. You lie down there and have a chill. So, what I'm going to try and do when we've done this one, I'm going to try and go live again. I'm going to sort some problems out. We'll have a quick live. And then I've noticed that quite a few people just like nattering, and quite a few people just turn the sound down on the live and they chat. So I thought if I can get it going from in there where I do my work, I'll just leave it up so people can have a chat. You know, whether I have a natter or not, I'll just come in the chat and chat with you guys. But obviously we'll respect other people's lives because there's a lot of them going on. I mean, I know adults. I'm. You know, when you have dental work done, you just have to go through it, don't you? There's nothing you can do. It's like there's no magic wand. You can't lie me down and then sit me up and everything's fixed again. So, and it started with me when I had the accident in 2006. It's a bone problem. So like, my bones just crumble. And what are the meds called? I have, Mark? Bone density meds. I have to have. I got a disease called myelitis. Basically, my foot was a bag of gravel from like my calf down. When I had the accident, it just shattered like that. They call it an Humpty Dumpty break. So I've got a metal rod that goes from my calf down into my foot, and then loads of metal work like screwed in to get the bone to go back together. And unfortunately, on the surface of the bone, I got an infection, and that spread. It was 2006. That spread up my back and up here, and I knackered this arm in the accident. I actually fell like that. My foot stayed in the hole, and there was a rebar, so I had to throw myself so the rebar didn't go with your face. But yeah, that's what happened. I don't talk about it often. It's not something I talk about. But I was about 18 months, lay flat on the bed, couldn't do anything, couldn't get up, and then they said I'd never walk, I'd never get up, I'd never do anything, and I was like, and I did, you know, I did. I'm here today and I'm doing that now, aren't I? But yeah, a lot of people have a lot to say about my disability, other than me. But that's how people are, isn't it? Neil, I don't like the dentist either. I hate going to the dentist. And especially when you're like me, your face is on TV, or, you know, you're doing radio, or you're doing an interview here or an interview there. But fortunately, I'm not really a vain lass. I just, you know, and I can't afford to take 6 weeks off work. I don't know if you lot can, but I can't. It's just not plausible for us. You know, we like to eat once a day. But yeah, let's get back to that. Are you in the pub, Jonesy? If you're in the pub, have one for me. Yeah? And get a kebab on the way home. It's years since I've been in a pub. Hey, pareidolia glasses. I know a lot about that. I gotta say, in the beginning, I was just as guilty as everybody else at seeing everything in the woods and thinking it was Bigfoot. I had a million photographs on my phone and my laptop. And even being an outdoors girl who knows nature, I still thought that's definitely weird, that, until you learn, you know what I mean? That's why I've been doing it for 40 years. You learn, you think that's weather, that's humans, that's foragers, that's scouts, that's bushcrafters, that's survivalists. You see, like when the grass gets high, it goes high in summer, and then winter comes and it freezes, and you're left with hay. I've seen that as a dogman den or a puppy's den, but there's like a Red Bull can there and a crisp packet, and you think, why would any self-respecting creature, even if it were a lion, lie down in last year's damp grass with loads of human rubbish? I'm sure they'd pick a better place to go and have a baby. You know, it's all part of learning the trade, I suppose. But I've also seen people on YouTube who have presented bushcraft shelters with twine, sawn wood, little piece of log to sit on, and a fire pit, and advertise that as a Bigfoot den and say that the fire and the twine are to put humans off, so we think it's a human, and that's just ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. It's like, why would any self-respecting animal put itself where it has no back door, no escape, right on a human path? It's just not gonna, it's not realistic, and it's not what happens. I'm a big believer in they go underground. I'm at a subterranean time at Gal, you know. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's just my opinion. Feel free to, disagree. I'm all right with that, mate. Are dogman sightings and encounters on the rise in the UK? 7-1 veggie man. Yeah, I would say so. Especially from 2017. I've noticed a remarkable increase since 2017. And I think it's a factor of things. I don't think it's just one thing. I think it's more known. So there's more people out there who know the subject now. There are more places to report to. There's more people taking reports and helping people out there, or putting them on the podcast or doing whatever, investigating the cases. A lot of the reports that come in are historical, and when I mean that, I don't mean the Middle Ages. I mean people reporting something that maybe happened 3 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, all the way back, or maybe reporting on something granddad experienced or something gran experienced, something like that. And then you have your current ones. Is it because 2019 we all got locked down and the animals were able to roam better than they'd ever roamed before? I don't know. I mean, I would imagine that's got something to do with it. We have moved further and further into the greenbelt. So even greenbelt land that was posted for it not being built on for 100 years because it's mining land is now having estates. Katie, who I was speaking to next week, we know there's a correlation between creatures and Ministry of Defence land, and where Katie is, there's an old RAF base, RAF Grove, and that's been used as arable farming land, if I'm right, since it's short, and now they're building homes on it. And Katie wondered if the creature that she experienced had to take a different route because of that building of the homes. Now, I just think Chris is. So what do you do if you hear your name called in the woods? I think it's different for everyone, isn't it? I suppose at first you'd think it was one of the kids or someone you know, or what I mean, someone, Debbie! You'd be like, who's that?
Hope it's a friend.
And then, I don't think I'd run, but I would think it were weird. Definitely would think it were weird. Yeah. Right. Do you think we truly have Bigfoot in the UK, or mostly wood wolves? See, to me, they're the same thing. I think a wood wolf is just an early depiction of a Bigfoot, but that's just, just my opinion. Let's look at the descriptions. Right, so some people report 8 foot tall, conical shaped head, no neck, big shoulders, V-shaped body, arms longer than a human, so almost down to the knees, completely hair covered, black or dark grey faces. I would say that's typically what we would class as a Bigfoot or a Sasquatch. And then you've got the wild men sighting. So mine didn't have a conical shaped head. What I saw, it looked like a man and an ape pushed together, like Pro-Magnum or Heidelbergensis, something like that. Heidelbergaster even. And for all he was hairy, you could see his skin beneath the hair. Very thickly muscled, but I would say, I called him the man ape, so that tells me that for me he was more man than he was ape. The woman who saw him after me in '84 called him the chimp man. And the girl I was with called him the gorilla man. So it was different for each of us. But I think we all saw the same thing because of the descriptions that were given. But I don't know what he is. He didn't say anything, actually. We were talking earlier, weren't we, about attacks and things. For all I was terrified and ran away, he didn't do anything. He didn't growl or he just went like that. But that was enough. I only saw him from here. I didn't see all of his body or anything like that. But that was enough, you know. I'm just looking through the questions. I might get to my next one. Chris said, it's never happened to me, but I'm aware of someone who did experience this just briefly in the early morning while walking his dog. One question I'm asked a lot, what kind of areas do these people see them in? Or like, if I wanted to go and find one, where's the best place to go? What were people doing when they saw them? And the answer to that is, the most thing that I hear the most is, I was out walking my dog. Closely followed by, I was out on my bike, or I was out with the wife and kids walking. You know, as soon as we get leisure time, humans, especially in the UK, if there's any light, you know what I mean? If there's any light, you're out in it, aren't you? You're going walking, you're taking the dog for a walk. A lot of people take the dogs for walks really early in the morning or really late at night. And I noticed in the case we discussed tonight with Polly, it was really late when she walked the dog. It was probably 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. It was a summer where it was so hot that we just didn't sleep. And it was too much for everybody's dog, wasn't it? We were all walking them really late at night, taking them out when it was cooler, and that's what she was doing. And she said, she remembers she put the dog in the car and she was driving, and there was a set of temporary traffic lights. And in the UK, even if you're in the middle of nowhere and there's no cars anywhere and it's 2 a.m. in the morning, if you see temporary traffic lights, we sit there like muppets. That's what we do. And she said that a few nights before she'd felt a trepidation at that point and didn't know why. And as she come round the bend, she said, the lights were on green, so I knew if I slowed, she wanted to time it so that she wouldn't be sat there on the red light. And it was as the lights hit that she saw what she at first thought was a huge shire horse hiding behind a tree, and that stood up on two legs and walked across the road. But her first thought about it was concern. She thought it was a shire horse and it was going to get hit by somebody in the road, and she wanted to save it. And the river wharf run underneath that very spot, and then I'm thinking, hang on a minute, that's Tracy, Bella, Polly, and then I asked a witness earlier, was there a river close to where you had your experience? And he said, yeah, there was a river. You know, so it's something I'll look into more now. Hi, David. How are you doing? I haven't seen you for ages. How's the River Avon? And is it quiet in them woods? How many of you guys, let me ask you a lot of question. How many of you had a story, I don't mean a Bigfoot story, but had a story at school or where you live? Like for our school, there was the green hand that was in the basement, and it was said that an old caretaker had killed himself down there, and all that was left of him was this green ghostly hand, and it would come and get you. Yeah. I know for my mate Claire, where she lives, it's Peggy. Is it Peggy Lantern, Mark? Isn't it? Yeah, Peggy Lantern in Oldham, isn't it? So, do you have like an urban myth like that where you live? I'm sorry, I was just reading because Darren was asking me about my interview with Kane. I've done a number of interviews with Kane, but therefore I can't give too much away because I've signed an NDA on it. They were that good, let's put it that way. They were that good that we think we're going to base something on them. So I haven't released them yet. And as it's part of the production company, I don't own them outright, so I can't just go, oh, it's alright. Like normally I'd say, oh, it's alright, I'll just share it with you. I can't, because it's all part of Brainard Productions and stuff like that. My own YouTube's just put me on an advert, because I'm too tight to pay to not have adverts. It's alright, yeah. Chris is saying that he doesn't think the dog's important. He thinks it's the solitude and the state of mind of the witness. I would agree with that, Chris. I would agree that when you're out, if say you're walking the dog, or like with me, if I go riding, I'm at my most relaxed, absolutely relaxed. My brain's turned off and I'm just on automatic pilot. At my mate Deb, B, nearly every experience she's had, she's been driving. And I think you're in automatic pilot. So you're using a different part of your brain, like that peripheral part of your brain. Is that why people tune in when they're just out walking the dogs? It's not the dog that's important, it's the leisure that's important. Like hunters see them in America when they've been sat in a deer stand for 8 hours. Yeah, or, you know, hikers and all kinds of things. Yeah, I think it's right. Yes, so it's right, let's have a look. These are the urban myths. Let me just have a look. Right, well, where David lives, there is a thing down there that it was grey, this big grey creature that used to roar at kids and scare them out of the woods. And after I had my experience, I went on Friends United and said, does anyone remember like a gorilla type thing at Beulah Hill? And someone went, yeah, and I was like, I shut the laptop because it made it all a bit real. So the witch house, but not a green hand story. Where we used to live, Frank, it's an old mansion land, isn't it, Mark? And one of the lanes is called Witch Brook, and another of the lanes is called Witch Eaves, and none of us know why. We've got a grey lady close. Someone else is saying, like Billy in Carvin, where my family's from. Be like the dog, be in the know. Yeah. I was like, what was Kiz? What was the name of that lady, that ghost from the museum? And she's famous. A grey and white lady. Oh, I can't think of her name. Hi, Nelly. You're right, sweetheart. Yeah. I'm going to do another live after this one, I think. I'm going to wrap this one up in a minute if no one's got any more questions for me. Have a quick cup off and then do another live. I might have to do it off camera though, simply because Mark's in the front room and, you know, he's been patient. You probably want to watch his telly at some point. And I don't have very good internet. Mary Ann Broccoli. I don't have very good internet in that other room, so I'm going to try and get that sorted out this week. But I think if I did it without my camera on, I might be fine. There's a case where Kiz lives, and it absolutely fascinated me. Mary Ann Brocklehurst, that's it, isn't it? She used to travel the world, didn't she? And she was into the Egyptians, and she brought a load of like Egyptian mummies over and stuff, and everyone said she was cursed, and she did end up dying like a lonely old lady kind of thing. There's my mate, Dave Davis. If anybody ever sees my whips, and people always comment on my whips, when I was younger, I had a thing with my daughters about Indiana Jones, and Dave made me and Mark an exact replica of Indiana Jones's whip. Maybe I should get that out. Look at that. Yeah. Katie says, people used to call my childhood home the witch house. Now, why does that not surprise me, Katie? Dave saying, we have 40-acre tunnels up the road, part of Hounslow Heath. More ghosts and strange creatures. Do you not find, like, paranormal investigators and cryptid investigators, if there's been, like, tunnelling in the area, or they've been building, like, a new housing estate, or something like that, it kind of ramps the activity up a bit. Gets them all stirred up. And Darren says, Deb, when I was younger, we used to go carol singing. There was one house we were told was an old lady who shapeshifted into a fox. And I think it was more likely she paid well. And the older kids knew this. There's one in the park where I used to live, and he was called The Man With No Face. And it was a guy got in touch with me, like not that long ago, probably in the last 12 months. And he said to me, like, I know you've got Bigfoot reports and that from the area, but when we were kids, there was this like myth that there was this guy in there, this man with no face, and he said they saw him, and he had like his face was like wrapped up in cloth. And he was hiding in the Chimney Pot Park. Don't know how true it was or not. Right. So I'm going to bring this one to an end now. And I'm going to get a quick cup of tea and get in bed and get comfy. And then I'll be live again. So just give me 5 minutes. Yeah. And if I can't do it from then, I'll come back in here and do it again. But I don't think about Roy. My dog's annoying me, so I'm going to have to go. Right, say bye-bye to everyone. We're going to go now. Mum's going to go in there and get some peace. So I will be back on Saturday next week with Katie's story, and we'll do a live stream after that, and we'll discuss Katie's story. And look out for a live in the week. I might just pop up on you, you never know. But until then, good night, everyone. Like, just stay here for 5 minutes now while I work out how to leave.